Okay, hey, welcome to the third season cooking, folks. Glad to see you here. Cheers. Okay, something a little bit different in the glass. We got Flying Monkeys Craft Brewery Chocolate Manifesto Chocolate Milk Stout. Nummy. And it is on Good Friday. And so in Canada, this Good Friday, it's the first day of early voting. And apparently all over the place, there's like 45-minute lineups to go vote. So what are you going to do instead of voting? I know, we're going to cut onions. Remember I talked about cutting onions in a couple of different episodes? So I'm going to show you the method that I see being used a lot on videos that I really don't understand, quite honestly. And it's odd because I've seen Gordon Ramsay say you should do this. I'm in two minds on Gordon Ramsay. Generally speaking, I think he's kind of a prat. But then I saw an interview where he's talking about his training in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, and the way he grew up, and all of a sudden, I started feeling like really warm and fuzzy feelings for him, whatever. And then I watch all kinds of videos with all kinds of people, and you can see I'm already going like, this is annoying. Because what you're supposed to do is cut off the front end of this onion. Maybe that's too big of a slice to take, but you're supposed to like leave the little root bit on there, so you got something to hold on to. I'm just going to toss this out. And then in different ways, you're supposed to make a cut like this, 2 or 3 cuts like this, and then you're supposed to, I don't know, I guess maybe you're supposed to like make a couple of cuts like this, and then you're supposed to slice it like this, and that's going to give you all your little slices, and you end up with some nice sliced onions. And I'm going, yeah, okay, whatever. Why? For one thing, making those cuts in the onion, to me, just makes it seem like you're going to end up hurting yourself even more. So what I like to do is I just cut off both ends. Then I take off the outside wrap. And depending on how much of an onion you want, I'm just going to do it a couple different ways. You do it like that. So, and then back to, I'm going to take this. See, one of the things that happens is often by the end of the winter, your outside onions end up with a bit of woodiness to them. So get rid of that. What I tend to find is if you really want to, if you want to make a very fine dice of onions, make a couple slices through the body of the onion, line it up, curl your fingers in, and then without lifting your blade of the knife off the table, you just slide it back and forth, and you get some really nice fine slices. Now this is the one that we sliced by the end, and this pile here is the one I just did by hand. If you don't like all the different sizes, because there are a little bit different sizes, you go back in and just cut them up a little bit more, curling your fingers away, okay? When you get down to the point like this, which is, I wouldn't do it there, you just sort of slice it up a bit finer, and away you go. Like, it's not hard. I don't know why these folks make it such a big deal out of how to slice up an onion. I mean, my second job was working in a buffet kitchen at a hotel here in Winnipeg. And on any given weekend, I would cut up 50-pound bags of onions. And I would do that at least once a weekend and sometimes twice a weekend. I get really good at cutting onions. If you want to make thick slices, you can do it like that. Now, if this was a whole onion still, you would have these nice slices that you could then make into onion rings, break them apart, take the smaller bits inside, cut them up. I'm just going to dice these up. If you want to make them bigger slices for like chili or something, there, done. So I don't quite get it. I've never understood it. I've watched videos for several years going, why do they make it so difficult? Again, we were in Mexico City, and I was watching a young fella at a taco stand as he was cutting up onions, and oh yeah, guess what method he was using? That would be this one. And just to show you something, so this is one of my usual cooking knives. It's pretty sharp. So I'm going to grab one that's not so sharp. This is one I use for just sort of like, cutting things, but I don't really care how sharp it is. And you can see, even with a relatively dull, lousy knife, you can still make things really small. And you make sure you curl your fingers in the holding hand away so you don't hurt yourself. So, let's say you want to make something with onions. There you go. And it doesn't take long at all. So here we are. We're looking at really simple, something really, really simple. Part of why I want to show you this was A, super simple, B, Easter weekend. So people are using things where they might need onions. Scalloped potatoes might be a really good dish to use onions in. I'm going to leave these chunky because I'm going to throw them in the bottom of the roast beef pot tomorrow. And away we go. So look at, whether you're transitioning from high school to college, college to full-time life to partnership life back into single life, or wherever you're at, you just want to learn how to cook. Cutting up onions is one of those basic things that goes into so many dishes, because let's face it, frying onions and frying mushrooms, especially together, is also the smell of love. You know, just got to add that in there. So enjoy yourself a good beer. Again, Flying Monkeys, Chocolate Manifesto, nom nom nom. Like, subscribe, and I hope to see you again for another episode. Cheers.